everybody, welcome back to Fresh TV. If you're new here, my name is Manuel, nice to meet you. I hope you stay, and if you already subscribed to this channel, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you all. Now today I debated very deeply on whether or not I should do a review to Marvel's newest movie, Captain Marvel, starring Brie Larson, Jude Law. I'm just going to give those two because those are two of the biggest names in the movie. Not to say that the rest of the people that occur in that movie are not big. For example, Clark Gregg and Samuel L. Jackson. But just to give you a little, such and such. Anyways, I'm giving you the option right now. This will be a spoiler filled review because I have a lot to say. And if you don't want to hear that, I'm going to give you to the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so before I get started with this review, I need to say that I made up my own scoring system. The scoring system will be made of 5 stars, as in 1 being meh to 5 being bruh, you gotta see this. This is the movie to see, right? So I would be scoring that within, and then I have like the middle, like 2 stars, 2.5 stars, and what that means as well. So before you go and sit your ass to sit down and watch Captain Marvel starring the beautiful and amazing, I'm trying to get her a better picture, Brie Larson, I gotta tell you if it's worth the watch or not, and what this movie's all about, and I could be possibly saving you money. Alright, so this movie is basically about Hal Jordan and how he joins the Air Force and then later helps an alien to become the Green Lantern. Wait, that's not this movie, but that's the same damn concept. That's funny. This is a Marvel movie, not DC. What the hell? So, this movie is basically about Carol Danvers, or who we are introduced, and who she's introduced to us as Vers, who live with the Kree, this elite force of people who just kick ass, man. Really cool. They have cool suits, cool green suits. They do a lot of cool things, flips and stuff. It looks amazing. You gotta see it for yourself. And it's basically about her discovering who she is and where her past is, what her past is, and why she keeps having these random dreams about her being in the Air Force. That's already a kicker, right? So, as we all know, Captain Marvel is the strongest one so far, right? That's what they're building her up to be. The strongest Avenger, and basically the first Avenger. But if not really the first Avenger, it's kind of like the first Avenger is Captain America, but this is the first one, we just didn't give her that name. You know what I mean? So, if Marvel's building her up to be that first Avenger, and they're building her up to be the strongest, in which she will be helping kick ass in Avengers Endgame against Thanos, I'm all for it. I have a lot to say about this movie, so stick with me. Why am I all for it? Well, because I think it's pretty cool. If you are a fan of movies in general, you see a lot of movies, and I see a lot of movies. DC I love, and Marvel I love, so I show support to both. Okay? I'm the cool dad with child custody over 2 kids that I cannot own, and I want to be there for both of my boys to see them grow and succeed. So I will be. All right, so. If you watched the movie Wonder Woman, which I thought was a fantastic addition to the DCEU, which supposedly does not exist anymore, but when it did, I thought Gal Gadot's version of Wonder Woman was amazing. Some of y'all are going to jump in the comments and be like, no, she wasn't thick enough. Homie, it's a cartoon. There's porn if you feel like masturbating. Don't do it to comics. Thank you. I just thought she was a great addition to, what's it called? Great addition to, the DCEU. I thought she played the perfect role of Wonder Woman. I thought the Chris Pine, dude, I freaking love Chris Pine. I thought all of that was very well centered and very good. I will say one thing about Captain Marvel. It did not introduce a love interest, which I am happy about, because I feel like girls could just kick ass and there doesn't have to be a love interest. You know what I mean? There doesn't have to be that person they love, or that person, that guy, that Prince Charming. There does not have to be that. She could be a kick ass without needing the help of another guy. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, I think Marvel perfectly captured that in this movie. The movie itself is about Carol Danvers, as I said before, working with the Kree. It starts off with her working with the Kree, not knowing what her past is and trying to figure out what these dreams are all about. And Jude Law goes by the name, I got it because I can't, Yon-Rogg. Yon-Rogg is the name of Jude Law's character, in which they battle with the Kree, which is a team of Yon-Rogg, Korath, Minerva, Bronchar, and Atlas. I guess it's supposed to be like Atlas, but it's ATT-LASS. Atlas, right? So this whole team of really badass, butt kickers, Carol Danvers is a part of, and she goes by the name Verse because they don't know her full name, and later on in the movie it explains why they call her Verse, right? For those of y'all who saw Guardians of the Galaxy 1, the guy that goes who to Peter Quill, that is Dimon Hansu. That dude's badass, so freaking cool. I want to meet you, man. So if you watch this review, just know I got mad love for you, and you're dope. He appeared as Korath in Guardians of the Galaxy, right, Volume 1, and he also appears as Korath in the latest installment in the MCU, Captain Marvel. So basically, what I just said the movie was about. Carol Danvers trying to figure out who she is, right? That is the entire movie. Yes, that is the entire movie. I had a conversation with a friend, so I'm going to throw it out on here so they don't go back and say, well, you said it was a good movie. I did. I said Captain Marvel was a good movie, and I said it was enjoyable. Both of those things are true. It's a good movie. It's enjoyable because it's not one of the worst films I've seen, and that's why I say it's good. But to be in the MCU, I think it is one of the worst movies that the MCU has made. And I'm going to stand behind that. And I don't care how mad the fanboys get or how mad y'all get. Some of y'all are afraid to say that some MCU movies aren't good. It's like there's this shrouder on the MCU, like they cannot make bad movies. There's no way, you know what I mean? There's no way that they can make bad movies. Well, they did. This was an origin story for Captain Marvel, but compared to the origin story of Iron Man, Thor, the Incredible Hulk, and Captain America, this one fell so short. I wanted this movie to be good. I really, really wanted this movie to be good. I went in there with some expectations. I ignored the reviews that people were saying it was a bad movie. I was like, I don't care if this, I don't care what this is about. I don't know why they're saying it's bad. I'm going to watch this movie and I'm going to enjoy it, and hopefully it's good, and it wasn't. It fell short. The fighting scene at the very end of the movie is enjoyable, except for one part that I thought was pretty stupid. So, the visuals in this movie are great. The fighting scenes are fun to watch. There's comedy, but the comedy falls flat. We get a young, what's it called? Nick Fury. We get a young Agent Coulson. This isn't Nick Fury before he loses his eye, which is said inside the movie. And because this is a spoiler review, I'm going to go ahead and say how he loses his eye. Not right now, but eventually in the review. So, you get these young versions, right? The very beginning of S.H.I.E.L.D., basically, and all this, all this type of thing, all this type of stuff. It's set in the year 1995. Carol is taken by the Skrulls, right? Breaks out of the Skrulls' bondage and heads back to Earth, like falls on Earth, right? They call it C-325. I think that's the name of Earth, and I could be bombing that. If I'm bombing it, I apologize. But so she falls down to Earth, and then from Earth she's trying to get back into space, and that's where we enter in Nick Fury, Agent Coulson, S.H.I.E.L.D., all of that. What was I going to say about her? The Skrulls. So why did the Skrulls take her? Well, this is what's weird. Within the first 10 minutes of the movie, you're already thrown into who the Skrulls are, what they're doing, right? And they're just trying to get information out of Brie Larson's head. They're trying to figure out who this old white lady is that Brie keeps on seeing. Now, as part of the Kree, you can go talk to the superintelligence. The superintelligence is an all-knowing being, but it appears to you in the form of the person you most admired in your lifetime. I'm a Christian, so I compare that to God. I feel like the superintelligence is God, an all-knowing being, and I've never seen God, but I've seen God work in ways, you know what I mean? So, basically, it's the person that means the most. The person that has really instilled stuff into my life and really built me up is my father. So I feel like the superintelligence that I would be seeing if I was a Kree would be my father, right? So, Varys keeps seeing this old lady, this older white woman, and she doesn't know who this white woman is, how she knows her. She just has this vision of this white woman saving her life and then getting shot by a Skrull. So she saves Brie's life, then they get shot by a Skrull. So that's all that plays in her head, and she's talking to Jude Law's character, and I've been having these dreams, and Jude Law's like, well, you know what, chill out, man, they're just dreams. Learn to control your powers, because she has powers now. Yeah, she's Light Up Fish, she's Iron Fish, she's Danny Rand. I'm just kidding. She can shoot beams from those as well. But he's like, learn to control your powers. Until you learn to control your powers and master the ways, then you will never fully grasp the abilities of your powers, right? Basically, she has this little chip in the back of her neck too that lights up every time she tries to get really angry or the powers are about to overload, so it keeps her in check, right? So she's like, well, I don't even know who this old white lady is that I see in the superintelligence. I don't remember anything. I just keep having these dreams. When the Skrulls get into her head, they start pulling up her time in the Air Force from the time that she was a kid to the time that she was, to the time that she was younger. and they're trying to get information about who that old white lady is that that Carol keeps seeing. The old white lady is a name by Dr. Wendy Lawson, played by Annette Bening. I've seen Annette Bening in another movie. I do not recall what movie it was though. So anyways, she's also known as the Supreme Intelligence and Dr. Wendy Lawson. She'll play a bigger part in the movie as we continue forward. So, I love the nostalgia of this movie, right? Let me go ahead and throw that out there. So we get Bree. She gets down to Earth. I'm sorry that I'm calling her Bree. Okay, she get Bree. Comes down to Earth. She meets Agent Coulson. She meets Nick Fury because she falls into a blockbuster and automatically S.H.I.E.L.D. is called to see what the hell's going on. She basically says there's some Skrulls. They're down here on planet Earth. I gotta stop them. They can shapeshift from the humans. I gotta get a hold of them because they're trying to get information from me, and I need to know what type of information they're trying to get from me, and maybe they possibly have answers as to who I am as a person. So it's her basically chasing these Skrulls throughout all of New York City. Right? No, not New York City. I'm sorry. I believe it's, where does this movie take place? I forgot where this movie takes place. Guys, please forgive me. So basically it's her chasing them all over the city, these Skrulls, and they take the place of whoever. Best Stan Lee cameo ever has to go to this movie for me, and that's just me. I'm a fan of Kevin Smith's Mallrats, Clerks 2, Dogma, and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I know I said that was way out of order, but the Stan Lee cameo, this is a spoiler, in this movie is when she's in that bus looking for that nice little old white lady that she beats up in the trailers. That's a Skrull. She runs across Stan Lee, and he's reading the script to Mallrats. Like, that was amazing. Other than that, it's all about nostalgia that really gets you going in this movie. It's nostalgia. It's the 90s. You're kind of like, oh, cool. It's nostalgia, but hey, I saw the nostalgia in mid-90s, and Jonah Hill perfectly displayed that. You know what I mean? Other than that, this is what you get. So the whole movie, Bree's trying to find out who she is. She gets little visions of who she used to be. We meet Goose, her little cat, who's actually not a cat. They continue to say that the entire movie. Goose is not a cat at all. He's a monster, basically. He's a Krellin or something like that. I forgot the name of it. We meet Goose, right? Adorable, man. I'm not the biggest fan of cats, but lately I've just been like, I finished New Girl, and Winston Bishop had a cat named Ferguson, and I'm just kind of like living for Ferguson. And then Church on Pet Sematary. So let's scratch that out. Anyways, Goose. And I think, guys, please comment on here. Is the reason her cat's name is Goose because of Top Gun? Goose Maverick? Whole Air Force thing going on there? Please, somebody comment and let me know, because that's what I'm thinking. I don't know too much about Captain Marvel, which is why I was really excited to see this film, because it's a new story. A character that I didn't really care for, but to see big screen, I wanted to watch. So yeah, they basically chase her throughout the city, meets Nick Fury. Nick Fury's like, who are you? Where do you come from? Blah, blah, blah. Let's just fast forward. It's basically a chase, the entire movie, for the Skrulls. And then, it just doesn't... Here's the thing. I don't want to give too much away. I know it's a spoiler review. It just falls flat. It goes nowhere. This chase of the Skrulls throughout the entire movie. Eventually, she comes into contact with an old friend of hers through a memory she had. Right? Because they break into this base, and Nick Fury and her get information about who... Dr. Wendy Lawson is, basically. And then, Carol starts to see that, oh, wait, my name is Carol Danvers? I thought it was just Verse. Wait, I was in the Air Force? Wait, I do remember this type of stuff? Then they head all the way to a friend. She finds her best friend, right, who supposedly thought she had been dead for 6 years, right? She went missing in 89. The year is now 95. Her friend, played by Lashana Lynch, her name is Maria Rambeau. So... they meet each other. She's saying, I missed you, blah, blah. We thought you were dead. I couldn't say anything. She's like, I don't remember everything about myself. And she's like, oh, well, I'm really sorry to hear that. I don't even know what's happening. Where have you been? And she's like, well, hey, look, let me show you. I have powers now. And her friend's like, oh, my gosh, this is crazy. Like, so what's going on? We're trying to stop these things called Skrulls. And who appears at the house? The Skrulls. But, hey, guys, ready to have your mind blown? The Skrulls aren't bad guys. They're not bad guys. They're really cool. They're really dope. I enjoyed the guy who plays it, Ben Mendelsohn. You may know him from Ready Player One. He plays Talos, and he plays Keller. Keller is the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time, basically Nick Fury's boss, but he's also Talos. I guess they just did that to have a character play two people, but Talos is like the leader of the Skrulls, basically. He goes on to tell... Verse, if you would just let me speak to you, I have some stuff to say. So he plays Ver's a clip, right? And that clip basically gives us the flashback of what happened to her when Dr. Wendy Lawson went missing. Dr. Wendy Lawson was actually Captain Marvel. Tells Bree, I need your help to save some people. Our lives are at risk. Are you down to do it? Bree's like, I'm there. I'm going to do it. You know how I feel about people. I'm all for this. Goes to help her. Goes to help her out. What happens after she helps her out? Falls. No, there's a whole crash. She's being chased by this spaceship. You don't know who's in the spaceship. You remember, the only thing that Carol thinks is it's the Skrulls. She's had visions and nightmares of the Skrulls. It's the Skrulls that did this, right? So, they crash. She's getting Wendy Lawson out of the thing. She's like, here, come with me. Wendy Lawson's like, oh, okay. I just came here to get an energy source. The energy source is, they're trying to get this energy source to destroy these people. But you don't understand who the people they are. They're trying to, these aliens that are chasing Brie Larson and Dr. Wendy Lawson are trying to get an energy source that they're going to use to take out another race of aliens, right? I'm not giving everything out in this movie, but Ronan does make a reappearance. Ronan from 2014's Guardians of the Galaxy is in this movie. So, she's like, we need to get to the energy source before they do. They get to the energy source. What happens? Lawson gets shot, dies. Brie had already noticed that she was bleeding blue blood, and she's like, what the heck? Dr. Wendy Lawson was Captain Marvel, who was a Kree. Who's the person that shot her dead? The whole movie makes it seem like it's the Skrulls. No, it's not the Skrulls. It's not. It's Jude Law's character, Yon-Rogg. Yon-Rogg was the bad guy the entire time. Then he points the gun at Bree. Bree's like, no, I have a gun too. I'm going to shoot it at this energy source. Shoots it. All the energy goes into her. Boom. That's when she loses her memory. Yon-Rogg says, we're not going to kill her. We're going to take her because she's exactly what we needed. We needed that energy source. Fast forward. Go back to this is what the Kree, the Skrulls had just explained to her. They said, we're refugees. We've lost everything. She was going to help us out, and she was going to help us find another place to stay before they killed our people. She realized that the Kree were bad people, and she was a Kree herself, so she was turning against them to help us Skrulls, right? Basically the whole plotline in the movie. In the movie, with the fight scene between her battling herself, battles all of the Kree. After she battles the Kree, she's getting help from the Skrulls. After she's getting help from the Skrulls, she has a battle with her mind in which she fights Dr. Wendy Lawson, the super intelligence that they're messing with her head. And it's like not even that great of a fight scene. It's kind of whack, to be honest. It reminds me of that movie, The Covenant, and how stupid those fight scenes were. That's what this feels like. But it's an enjoyable fight scene. It's great all around. It's fun to watch. I really enjoyed it. And I would say that you would enjoy it too. So go watch that fight scene. It's fun. But let me go to wrap this up. I'm sorry, guys, that I've taken so long. I just had a lot to say, as I said before. This movie was enjoyable, as I said. The movie basically ends with her not even kicking Jude Law's ass. She just blasts him, then drags him, sends him back into space, tells the Skrulls, I'm going to help y'all find a refuge, don't worry. And then she tells her friend and her daughter, the friend had a daughter named Monica. She's like, I'm going to miss y'all, see y'all later. Gives Nick Fury a little beeper, and the beeper, she's like, here, I switched it so it could reach galaxies. Be on your way. Later, Nick Fury. Nick Fury's like, alright, cool, peace, right? And then she takes off back into space. No more Captain Marvel, right? Until now, the Avengers Endgame. I'm not going to give you all the end credit scenes. If y'all want, go ahead and message me, and I'll tell you what those end credit scenes are about. But I will tell you how Nick Fury loses his eye. Nick Fury loses his eye by... I'm not going to tell you all that either. I'm just kidding. I know I said this was a spoiler, but I want to keep some of it non-spoiler. So I basically explained the entire movie on what to expect, even Stan Lee's cameo. Is this movie worth the watch? It's enjoyable. It was good all around. I liked it. But I'm saying it's enjoyable. Like, it's a movie that I sat there and I didn't think it was stupid. That's what I mean by enjoyed. Like, I didn't walk out of the theater like I did with Sherlock and Watson. That was a terrible movie. I walked out of that movie. So I sat through this entire movie, but I will tell you this. It fell flat. The storyline wasn't that great. As an origin story, this was bad. I honestly do not even put this at the list of top 5 Marvel movies. It doesn't get that. Call me whatever you want. I honestly don't give a shit. I'm just being honest. I love Marvel. I'm all for them. But Wonder Woman was a much better movie when it comes down to this. And I hope that if you want to go check it out, y'all enjoy it. Maybe y'all think differently than I do. I don't think it was a great movie. I really don't. It fell flat, as I said before. Storyline, just as I said, wasn't that great. Origin story wasn't that good. The acting though wasn't bad, and it was enjoyable to watch that. Brie Larson, you did a tremendous job. Everybody else, every single one of the cast members, y'all did a tremendous job. If this in any ways empowers women to feel greater about themselves, or in some way, like, you know what, like, hey, I can kick ass, you know what I mean? Like, some little girl's gonna sit there and watch this and be like, yo, I can kick ass on my own, and I'm not always gonna be a sidekick for the rest of my life, and I could do more than I think that I possibly can, no matter how tough life gets, then I'm all for that. But if we're being honest, the movie itself wasn't that great. So I leave this movie with, damn, unless I change my mind, 1.5 stars, which is basically like meh. That's what this movie is. It's So if you want to go see it, go check it out. I'm all for that. Go check it out. If you want a good movie to watch this weekend, skip it, because it's not that great of a movie. As I said before, it's enjoyable. I didn't walk out, but it did not meet the standards of a good Marvel movie. It didn't, and because of that, I give it 1.5 stars. Still enjoyable. Action scenes were fun though. I told you, there's one action scene before she fights with Wendy Lawson that's really cool. Then this year discover her powers when she goes full on Captain Marvel. That's really cool. Little things like that. The end credit scenes, one is very serious. Stay for that one. That's a little into the credits, and then the last one is just for fun. So I didn't explain what Ronan was doing there, or the fact that the Tesseract is in this movie. But go see this movie for yourself. I would still say if you're a Marvel fan, you're gonna go watch this movie, because you're a Marvel fan. We watch every movie. But other than that, 1.5 stars, and that's all I can give it. Sorry that this was so long, 21-minute video. But love y'all guys from the bottom of my heart. Another thing, thank you to every single one of you who watched my toy figure review. That's the most viewed video I have on this YouTube channel, and I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. That means the world to me. Everybody who commented, or anybody who liked it, anybody who viewed it, that means the world to me. It just goes to show that something that I wanted to do, and experiment, is something that I'm going to be doing a lot more of. So expect toy reviews on this channel starting soon, and bear with me, guys. It's like a podcast. It's not going to be good the first time, but as it progresses, I will get better. Anyways, I love y'all, and God bless.
How about the designer that made you that? I got the new job, ayy. I hope I did the your season, even goes that.